So while he's pulling up my slides, at Help for HD International, when the world stood still during a pandemic, we knew we had to move forward and we had to move forward quick. We are very lucky at Help for HD International that we had already built a huge social platform on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. We had Help for HD Live, which is our weekly radio show. We were able to move fast to bring virtual awareness and education to our community. Some of the silver linings of the pandemic, if there are any, we were able to introduce Help for HD TV because we knew that some people like to watch presentations, they just don't like to listen to them from our radio show. We also introduced virtual support groups. And I think that was probably one of the most amazing things that we did this year. Our caregiver support group is unbelievable. I know a lot of you guys are here. And then our JHD support group, and the way these families have connected like they haven't before through the JHD support group is pretty amazing. We have people come from all over the nation every bi-weekly for our JHD support group. We are very thankful for Genentech because they came to us in the beginning of the pandemic and said, you are the only company in the HD space that has a relief program. So we're going to step in and we are going to do relief with you. So we were able to send hundreds of families across the nation relief during the pandemic. So we are very thankful for that. And then we are very thankful for Teva Pharmaceuticals for continuing to give us the grant to be able to keep our relief program, our family relief program going. So our caregiver binders in the back, this started because during the pandemic, HD families were getting picked up, maybe by an ambulance, there was a crisis. You were not able to go to the hospital with your loved one. All your medical information and stuff, you were stuck at home or you weren't allowed in the caregiving, in the facilities anymore. So we came up with our caregiver binders that was full of like medication lists. You can write any notes about your loved one. Anything that you would want a medical professional to know that would be caring for your loved one was in that binder. So those are free thanks to Teva Pharmaceuticals and the Griffin Foundation. So take one home with you if you don't already have one. I know it's hard to fill out all that information about your loved one, but once you do, that's going to be like your golden package. You could take it to all your doctor's appointments with you. Who is Help for HD International? We were started back in 2010 by families. So we are HD family members, all of us. A mom started our organization. Her name's Melissa Biliardi. And she found there was a gap of information for the Huntington's disease community. You had some people were able to go to centers of excellence. Some people weren't even getting medical assistance. And then we all obviously need the hope to hear about research that is coming and happening in our space. There was nothing to connect that. So she came up with the podcast was the new thing. So she started a podcast at her kitchen table. To this day, we have over 500 episodes archived on Blog Talk Radio, iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, anywhere you can get a podcast, we are on it. We've interviewed everyone like Nancy Wexler. We've had shows on resilience, on grief. We've had a lot of experts in neurology and psychiatry have been on there. During the pandemic, in the beginning, we weren't sure if COVID was going to affect HD. So we actually had a neurologist, our very first show came on with our neurologists over in China that are caring for people with Huntington's disease, and they were getting their data before us. So we were able to be the first company that came live to the community. Let's see if I can. So this is just, we are families working really hard to make a difference for our community. These are some of our programs at Help for HD International. So I'm going to go through them just really quick. So if you guys need any of these resources, these are always available for free for you. Help for HD International does not charge for any of our events, any of our programs. They are all free for our community all the time. So if you need any of these programs, let us know. It's not advancing. So Help for HD Live, this is the radio show I was talking to you guys about. We're almost to 130,000 international listenership for the Huntington's disease community. That's a huge reach. And so like I said, you can follow us on any of these podcast platforms. So go on, check us out, subscribe. Lauren Holder now, Katrina and I and Sharon used to host the show. We got too busy with other programs. So now Lauren Holder goes live every week on Thursday at 1:00 p.m. A huge thank you to Teva Education Grant by Teva Pharmaceuticals from the beginning that has kept this going, and the Griffin Foundation. HIPE is what you're doing right now. So we found in 2017, we came up with this program called HIPE because we were on our annual symposium. we were having a lot of research talks, and research talks are great. They're fantastic. But what we would do is we look out in the audience and people would be falling asleep. And so we said, no, that's not what we need. We need more interaction from our community to the professionals. So we came up with this concept that what if we gave people, we de-identified them and we gave them a sheet of paper and you can write any question you want on that paper and ask a panel of experts. We are so thankful for our panels that let us put them on the spot. They have no clue what's coming at them, and they're going to do that today for you. But you guys get to ask them any questions, and you don't put your name on it. I'll read the questions for you so you feel comfortable asking any question that you and your family need answered. As you can see, we've been all over the United States, even San Juan. We've been all over the place until 2020. We had to go full virtual. Everyone started doing virtual events in our space. So we, of course, had HDSA, HDYO, HSG, and then Help for HD, all doing virtual events. So it got redundant. So what we decided was we would come up with themes. So we did a theme on caregivers. We did a theme on genetics. Then we did Mythbusters, because we all know there's so many myths in our disease. So we did Lifespan of HD, and we are the HD community. Thank you to Teva, Neurocrine, Unicure, and Griffin for making HIPE again possible in 2022. The annual symposium, our first one was in 2014. That's what this event was supposed to be, but it turned over to a HIPE. But we are continuing to do virtual symposiums right now. So if any of you have been a part of it, you've gotten a cool swag box, you've gotten a whole bunch of t-shirts and hats and all that. We are doing that again for HIPE in March. So keep an eye out for that. Make sure you guys get all your HD awareness stuff in the mail. Help for HD TV launched, I think we are at our 89th episode, which is pretty cool. And you can find us on YouTube. This is where we're pretty unique. Our family relief program for during COVID, like I said, we did quality of life essentials. We sent food, we sent different things that people could go grocery shopping. We have bought medical equipment, Hoyer lifts. We have helped families during the hurricane in Puerto Rico. During Hurricane Harvey, we actually brought HD families quality essential. A lot of people didn't even have toothbrushes. We helped during Irma and different ones. We moved families out and paid for their hotel rooms to get them out of the hurricane kind of hotspots. Our relief fund has helped a lot of different people in a lot of different ways. But this is our favorite. This is dear to our heart. This is our holiday relief fund. We just closed this. We actually just did it in December. So our first one was we sent hundreds of HD families across the nation Thanksgiving and holiday food. So a lot of people we know live with financial devastation in our community and they can't afford an extra meal. Help for HD International, we went in during the holidays and we paid for their holiday meals. Our JHD program's really cool. We get to go shopping and we get from the moms, they give us their Amazon lists for their kiddos and we make sure we get everything on their Amazon list. And any JHD mom that's been involved in this knows we actually do this and we come through pretty hot. Usually your whole list is actually taken care of. That's for our children living with JHD. And then our Help for the Kids holiday program is, once again, due to financial devastation, sometimes parents don't have the means to buy their children presents for Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate. And so what we did was we go and we help HD families buy their children living with, you have to be impacted by HD and we have a child in the house under 18 years of age. And then we go in and we buy the Christmas presents, but they're from the parent with HD, not from us. So it's a special program because a lot of those presents, those children will hold dear to their hearts for the rest of their lives. HD publications, we have Life Interrupted 1, Life Interrupted 2, I Fight For, and a Caregiver book. They are amazing books. Life Interrupted 1 and 2 were actually written by families. So it's a 12-author collaboration. We have those books available for you in the back. For those of you here today, you guys get books, but they are available on Amazon. We have, of course, we have HD trivia, which is really good for you having to talk to like your friends and family that sometimes if you marry someone with Huntington's, it's hard to talk about Huntington's. It's hard to explain to people. So we came up with this fun game and it's trivia and there's everything from history, from the Gunthries and the Dr. Huntington himself, everywhere from science to JHD. So it's a trivia game that you can really start stimulating conversation with your friends about Huntington's and what you're living at home. We have our Huntington's Post, which is our online blog. Right now we are running 20 questions with Help for HD. And it's families going and answering 20 questions. So we get to learn how everyone is very different with HD, but a lot of the same. And then we have all of our publications. What is HD? What is JHD? And all of these are available to you for free all the time in case you need them as a support resource. Our law enforcement and first responders education is huge. This started back when we saw a YouTube video of a man held down by, very small man living with chorea, held down by 3 officers on the ground as he asked them to please stop as they screamed at him to quit resisting arrest in front of his 2- and 4-year-old children. At that time, we decided we had to step in and we had to create something to help awareness to education and first responders about Huntington's disease. We have traveled, our very first event was the IACP, which is the International Chief of Police Association, where we came in contact with 4,000 officers, and we were able to teach them about Huntington's disease. We go to multiple national and state law enforcement meetings. I just did one last weekend here in Florida. So with Vicki Owen. So we were here, we came in contact all up and down the state. If you guys call your law enforcement, let them know that if they didn't see us there, then they probably weren't there because we were in a very good space. The one thing we learned from law enforcement when we talk to them is they always tell us the same thing. They never know what Huntington's is. They just don't. It's very rare that any of them know what HD is. And then we start explaining it to them. And then they always say the same thing. If you are an HD family, you need to call your law enforcement because they need to know you're there. You don't want to wait till a crisis to meet your local law enforcement. You want to get one step ahead of it, not behind it. And so that's what they tell us to have our HD families do. During the pandemic, we obviously couldn't go and train. We called our amazing sponsors, Teva Pharmaceuticals and Neurocrine and Griffin, and said, we still want to support the community through this process, but we can't go to meetings anymore. So we came up with our HD ID cards and our window decals. They are here. Our ID cards are not here, but our window decals are. But if you want HD ID cards sent to your house, we will send them for free. Of course, the ID cards say, I'm living with Huntington's, my caregiver information, etc. But the window decals are really cool because you can put them on your window, and if there's a car accident and you as a caregiver are unresponsive, the medical team will know that someone with Huntington's disease is in the car and may need special help. They may not be able to articulate pain. They may not, different kind of the little general things to let them know someone may need a little bit more special care that's in the car. I suggest everyone get those on your cars. I know it's not pretty to have stickers on your car, but it makes it safe. Research and care. We at Help for HD International, we came up with a new model that if you fundraise for Help for HD International, we don't take any money. We give it back to researchers. So you can, so if anyone does a fundraiser, we're not really big on fundraising, but if you do, all that money that you raise will go back to wherever you fundraise for. So it could go to your medical team, your care team, or HD researcher that you believe in. We have sent 2021, we sent $46,000 to different researchers and care teams across the nation. The Warriors is our documentary. We followed for 1 year families living with JHD, and we filmed it, and we were able to make the first documentary ever for JHD. It was I think 2016 is when we finally started submitting it to film festivals. If you can see all those little logos, that's all the film festivals we won. So our caregiver resource binder, this is what I was talking about in the back. And I'm incredibly thankful to Katrina Hamill who came up with this concept because it is so important to have all your medical information in one spot. Free, take them, we have them, please. And if we run out for any reason, we will send them to you for free. Thanks to Teva Pharmaceuticals. How many times are you going to hear that today, Teva? Probably a lot. They sponsor every single one of our programs. Stay connected with us. So we are on, anyone who knows, we are on Facebook. We are on all social media streams. We're on YouTube, iHeartRadio. You guys can probably find us anywhere if it is a social stream. Actually, our social media manager just walked in, London. So she is here. So if you end up on TikTok, I'm sorry. No, I'm just kidding. Huge thank you to our sponsors, Teva Pharmaceuticals, Neurocrine, Genentech, Wave, Sage Therapeutics, the Huntington Study Group, Prolinia, Voyager, and Unicure. Without you guys, we couldn't do what we do. So thank you so much.